Hello YouTube, Shin Tiger Curl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another part in my countdown to Pirate Warriors 3 Let's Play. Last time we looked at the human pacifista Bartholomew Kuma. Now we look at Joker, Donquixote Doflamingo. Like always, all the information provided here comes straight from the One Piece wiki. So if you want to learn more about these characters or about the world of One Piece in general, head on over to One Piece wiki. Also, or if you're like me, you can just read the manga or watch the anime to check it out. But yeah, let's get to it. Heavenly Yaksha, Donquixote Doflamingo is a member of the Seven Warlords of the Sea, captain of the Don Quixote Pirates, a member of the Don Quixote family, the erstwhile king of Dressrosa, and a former world noble. He is the son of Don Quixote Homing and had a younger brother, Rosinante, both of whom he killed after feeling betrayed by them. He was also an underworld broker who operates under the alias Joker. Doflamingo was stripped of his title as king after he was defeated by Monkey D. Luffy, and he and his entire crew arrested by Admiral Fujitora. His bounty before he became a member of the Warlords was 340 million berries. Although he has appeared in the first half of the series frequently, he did not play much of a role into the second half. Due to his actions and positions, he is the main antagonist of the Dressrosa arc and one of the central antagonists of the Pirate Alliance saga. Personality. Like many other characters, he has a unique laugh, being or as in characterized in English. Doflamingo has immense arrogance, pride, and a carefree attitude. He seems to have a perchance for dramatic phrasing, as well as a habit of exaggerated poses when giving declarations. He fears very few people, as he openly taunts Fleet Admiral Sengoku, sits on the table during the Warlords meeting, and shows only gleeful interest at the thought of warring with Whitebeard. He does, however, dislike it when people take rumors and speak of them as facts, and he does not cave into such prejudice from such false rumors, as seen when he grew irritated when Jorah stated that the incorrect belief that amber lead syndrome was contagious. When he was 8 years old, he had the spoiled and violent attitude typical of a celestial dragon, wanting slaves and expecting subservience from commoners. Even after his father took him away from such a life of luxury, Doflamingo clung to his heritage, believing he still had the rights to his lost origins, complaining that he did not want to live outside of a run-down shack despite being hunted, and resents his father to this day for taking it all away from him. Doflamingo's arrogance stems from his heritage, and he hypocritically states that what he despised most is being looked down upon, while looking down on the world of commoners as he's been condemned to living to this day. He believes his suffering from his father's choice is greater than anything anyone else has suffered, deeming those instances as child's play compared to his own miserable childhood. Despite hating the celestial dragons for rejecting his return and swearing vengeance upon them, Doflamingo continues to believe to this day that he is nothing short of being their equal, if not superior, and that he has the blood of a god flowing through him, something he would flaunt to his opponents. Believing his heritage to be the supporting pillar to his greatness, and that one's bloodline is the determining factor of superiority, Doflamingo held humanity with contempt, ceaselessly flaunting his title in front of Luffy, even in his final moments before Luffy defeats him, believing a mere commoner never had a chance of defeating him. Born and raised in the comfort of Marie Joas, an 8-year-old Doflamingo was as oblivious to the outside world as the rest of his former compatriots, infuriated that commoners did not bow to him, unaware of their hatred for the world nobles' abuse of their diplomatic immunity, and did not understand what genuine suffering was. As he suffered hunger, pain, and persecution, however, Doflamingo's knowledge matured, and allowing him to understand what true suffering humanity goes through firsthand. Though unlike his brother and father, Doflamingo in no way sympathized with the commoners' anguish, nor feels any regret for them. Instead swore vengeance upon all those who dared to bring pain unto him, all with a sadistic nature that makes people suffer for many years to come. He continued to have everyone who opposed him, even in the slightest manner, destroyed, having burnt down an entire town for poor pavement. He ran a slave shop and forced Dressrosa's citizens and dwarves into slavery to insult how many slaves suffered at the hands of the celestial dragons. He even mocked the commoner's sufferings in revenge, using the fact that one boy was killed by 16 shots from a celestial dragon to the homage of his attack against Luffy, referring to the 16-string bullets as holy ammunition. Instead of accepting how the world nobles caused so much suffering to humanity, Doflamingo cursed his father and brother for their kindness, bringing them down to the mortal world, and that they deserved to die to redeem themselves in his eyes. Due to his mature outlook on life in the commoner's world, Doflamingo became very observant in the environment in which he grew up in, as he officially adopted law, foreseeing the boys suffering from the tragedy of the White City, while disliking prejudice based on inaccurate rumors. He did not cave to such in regards to Law's illness, and later on rescued the sisters Monet and Sugar from the extremely unfortunate environment they grew up in. In contrast, he saw the Bellamy pirates as little more than rowdy ruffians unworthy of his positive attention, showing them little to no respect. He also has an odd habit of sitting in strange positions, like on the backs of chairs, on tables, on barrels, and even on a pile of bodies in the middle of a war zone and on top of a wall. He also is completely calm and cool-headed in most situations. Even when Baby 5 attacked him with what is lethal blows, he simply dodged away while casually having a conversation over the phone. Prior to the time skip, Doflamingo had a complete and utter lack of fear or doubt, going so far as to rob the world nobles of their tribute, so he could blackmail the world government. He has never been seen looking with having any other feeling than amusement by the turn of events, regardless of how they affect him. Only on rare occasions does he let go of his trademark smile, such as frowning in arrogance, as in a frowning annoyance when he was being summoned to Mary Joie. Surprised when Lafayette arrived unannounced and unnoticed until was made known, and when Little Orange Jr. attempted to attack him directly. However, these moments are short-lived, as Doflamingo would usually just grin again. The only genuine fear he's shown was when reliving his childhood memories, due to being attacked by a mob at the age of 8 because of their hatred of the celestial dragons. Doflamingo learned pain and hunger for the first time in his life. Such events left him suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder even up to the age of 25, causing him to have nightmares about the torture and waking up in fear and drenched in sweat. To cope with it, he drinks copious amounts of booze. 2 years after the Battle of Marineford, he would continue to maintain his confident smile even while everything was under control. However, when Law defeated Virgo and threatened the sad supply, and even mocked him for his lack of fear and doubt as signs of overconfidence, Doflamingo finally expresses true anger and worry. When Law finally destroyed the sad supply, captured Caesar, and used it to threaten Doflamingo into abdicating his position as a warlord, Doflamingo finally lost his composure and showed utter panic and intense anger. Doflamingo also shows signs of fear of someone's ability when Admiral Fujitora brought down a meteor during a three-way confrontation between himself, the Admiral, and Law. Upon finally losing control over Dressrosa, Doflamingo succumbed to fear, despair, and fury. Doflamingo became so frustrated by all this that he decided to just laugh everything off. While discussing with Law about how his father abandoned the status of the Celestial Dragons and how he was set back from acquiring eternal life, Doflamingo became more and more frustrated as he relived those moments. Doflamingo likes to toy around with his opponents and victims in a sadistic, cruel way, as seen when he gleefully forced two Marines to try to kill each other, and forcing Bellamy and Sarkis to fight each other and suffer injuries before dealing the final blow, all while laughing at their pain. During the Battle of Marine Ford, all of Doflamingo's confrontations have been for the sake of personal amusement, hinting at his sadistic nature, such as when he was seen laughing joyfully after severing Orange Jr.'s leg. His sadistic side is further shown as when he shot Law with lead bullets, as a cruel reference to Law being sick from lead poisoning from when he was a child. This puppeteering nature is implied by Law when he claimed to have not acted that way he expects them to. He is seen laughing when great events happen during the war, regardless of who they affected. He found great amusement in virtually anything, from Whitebeard entering the battle, to the death of Whitebeard, to the arrival of the Blackbeard pirates, and even the arrival of the Redhair pirates. He even taunted Gecko Moria for being too weak to continue as a warlord, and he and some of Pacifistas took the assignment of exterminating him with great joy and enthusiasm, and yet treated his escape gleefully even though he got away, seemingly unfazed by his own failure to kill him. Another indication of Doflamingo's lack of morality is that he ran the human auction house without showing any kind of remorse while selling captured people into slavery. He even profited from some countries engaging in wars by providing weapons for them. However, when pressed for time and desperate, Doflamingo forgoes any form of sadism and interrogation and instead just rashly kills his opponent to satisfy his rage. Doflamingo seems to live by a might makes right philosophy, believing that the strong are the ones who should make the rules and are the only ones capable of living in the new era. Due to his beliefs in this new era, Doflamingo seems to have lost interest in other things easily, as seen as his leadership of the Bellamy Pirates and the ownership of the human auction house. He also threatened to quit the warlords if orders were given by the world government are not satisfactory to his likings or if they ignore him, and he never really cared about the world government from the beginning. Though a firm believer in the new era philosophy, Doflamingo, unlike his former subordinate Bellamy, himself seems to have an open opinion on dreams, though dreams themselves do not interest him at all. Despite this belief, he does not oppose becoming Pirate King. Doflamingo also possesses an extremely bloodthirsty mentality, as he brutally punished a gladiator for not shedding enough blood for the spectators in his Colosseum fights, and casually licking some off of his gladiator victim from his own face. He also believes in the existence of an inherent cruelty in all human beings, regardless of personality that is brought by the excitement of seeing blood and death. He would go so far as to commit patricide at the age of 10 and fratricide at the age of 28, both incidents stemming from his contempt for his victim's actions. Furthermore, when Doflamingo became furious, the veins on his forehead began to pop out. Should he hold utter contempt for his victims, Doflamingo has a habit of shooting his victims with a gun, as shown with his father, brother, and Law. While he appears to regard those weaker than him as mere pawns rather than crewmates, he does have some pride and a small sense of honor for his flag, and despises the idea of those who failing while using it. Though he could not care less for the weaker people, he is not above pointing out their flaws, and despite his apathy for the weak, he does often seem to make alliances with promising rookies. His adopted brother Trafalgar Law, Virgo, and Bellamy into his crew, and apparently did it very early on in their journeys, and treated Law and Baby Five as though they were younger siblings. Upon Bellamy falling out of his expected standards, Doflamingo discarded him after torturing him first. However, he does have an extraordinarily strong sense of loyalty, duty, and camaraderie and compassion for his subordinates, who have been with him for a long time, as he expressed remorse when he had to discard Monet and Virgo, feeling disappointment when Law betrayed him, and went out of his way to destroy 8 towns simply to protect Baby Five from her personal flaws. This is also displayed by his anger when Trafalgar Law took his subordinate Jorah hostage. Despite his loyalty and compassion and camaraderie and dedication to his crew, which itself is mutual, he can still be annoyed by their antics. such as when Treble became too close to him when chatting, as evidenced by his irritated frown. He cares enough for the officers of his crew that he protected Treble from the defector warlord Trafalgar Law without a moment's hesitation for a second. Though he does care for his new family seems to be genuine, he will not hesitate to sacrifice any of them when he sees it necessary, and as he intended to force Rocinante to sacrifice his life to perform the perennial youth operation for Doflamingo's immortality, a plan that he switched to Law after when he recognized that Law ate the ape fruit, intending to educate the boy into seeing the importance to die for him. Ironically, despite his familial attachment to his crew, Doflamingo ruthlessly murdered his father and brother. He despised Homing for throwing away his family status as world nobles and killed him 2 years after his mother passed away due to illness. When confirmed of Rocinante's treason, Doflamingo hardened his heart and murdered him after verbally disowning him. Doflamingo has an unbreakable will to survive with pride, refusing to plead or die even when citizens torturing him in an attempt to break him, while swearing aloud to live through it to kill everyone in revenge. Compared to how Homing and Rocinante were begging for mercy, Doflamingo's willpower utterly horrified his father, brother, and the torturers alike. Even when being hunted down by the celestial dragons, Doflamingo managed to escape them due to his will to live. His strength to live on is brought about his desire for immortality, which is the reason he wanted the ape fruit. For this reason, he was prepared to force his brother Rocinante to eat it, unaware that Rocinante already possessed another power, and then ordered Rocinante to give up his life in exchange for giving Doflamingo eternal life, knowing that even though Rocinante was a traitor, he still did not reject his orders. This setback from immortality angers Doflamingo whenever this failure is mentioned. As a former celestial dragon who reigns fanatical about the associated privileges and history, Doflamingo has an innate fear of those who bear the middle initial D in their names, knowing that such people are the celestial dragon's natural enemies. Rocinante believed that this alone made Law a danger of being anywhere near his older brother, and if Doflamingo should have found out, he would have killed Law outright. Indeed, when Law reveals his hidden name, Doflamingo becomes shocked, and though dismissing the D, being his natural enemy, as superstitions, he becomes reckless in battle, attacking Law furiously while leaving himself close to his attack range. Abilities and powers. As the captain of the Don Quixote pirates, an unusually powerful member even for a warlord, Don Quixote Doflamingo has complete authority over the crew. He is active in the realm of the underworld brokering, including slavery, production and distribution of weapons of mass destruction, and devil fruit trafficking in the New World, and is currently the most resourceful and influential broker there is. In addition, he was the king of Dressrosa, which gave him dominion over an entire kingdom. Upon his defeat at the hands of Luffy, Doflamingo was stripped of his title as king. Being able to deceive the entire world that he resigned from the warlords is considered an impossible feat by anyone less than a world noble, as Doflamingo was indeed one, which gave him the privilege to do as he pleased on a global scale, without fear of repercussions. Upon his father dragging him away from such a luxurious life, he lost all the privileges. However, he managed to obtain the knowledge of the Mary Jawa's national treasure, which, when used in combination with the ape powers, could shake the foundations of the world, a fact he used to blackmail the celestial dragons when they failed to kill him, allowing him to regain the privileges of a celestial dragon and mobilize the CP0 to falsify his resignation as a warlord. As further proof of his power, he was able to face off against former warlord Crocodile and later emerged unharmed. 10 years before the current storyline, Doflamingo managed to steal riches from the world nobles and by threatening the world government earned himself the status of a warlord. His reputation is also enough to force King Riku Dole III to gather money from Dressrosa citizens to avoid fighting him. He's the only warlord known to fight one of his colleagues, Gecko Moria, and seriously injure him. though he was aided by a small group of pacifista, and Moria has yet to recover from the injuries he sustained during the war. Whoever ordered him to take out Moria apparently had enough confidence in his strength to have him kill a fellow warlord, and was highly disappointed when he allowed Moria to escape before the final blow could be dealt. He claimed that the one who gave him the order to kill Moria was of higher rank than Sengoku, those being either one of the Gorosei or Commander-in-Chief Kong, or someone else of a high rank within the world government. He is so powerful that Law suggested that if Doflamingo resigns his position, the Marines would send their top fighters, the admirals, against him. This was confirmed when Kuzan told Smoker to immediately warn Sakazuki about Doflamingo, and the fleet admirals should dispatch the admirals. His strength over the lower-ranking Marines was enforced when Doflamingo toyed around with Vice Admirals Momazibia and Stainless, and later defeated Admiral Smoker, both occasions with tremendous ease, showing that he had the ability to take down at least a Vice Admiral of Smoker's level, who was a formidable Logia-class Devil Fruit user. He's so strong that Law, a super rookie and a warlord himself, chose not to fight until he encountered Doflamingo to save his energy and have a higher chance against him. Aside from his tremendous combat skills, Doflamingo has great amounts of influence in the world, being a warlord and a world-famous pirate. He is known as Joker, the most powerful broker in the underworld. He had the Bellamy pirates under his authority, as well as powerful subordinates, such as Vice Admiral Virgo and Monet, as well as formerly Trafalgar Law, who was a fellow warlord. He had Virgo installed in the Marines as a spy, and thus having a trusted and convenient Marine under his command. Doflamingo is also associated with the former world government scientist Caesar Clown, but does not trust him and placed Monet as a deep cover agent to monitor his actions. He declared Caesar Clown to be his direct subordinate, which in turn instantly cleared up all of Caesar's crimes and cannot be arrested by the government any longer. Upon being defeated, this was rendered null and void. As such, he is a criminal once again. Doflamingo's influence extended to several countries at war, as he was the only one providing weapons for them. His defeat made it unable for them to support themselves any longer and forced many of them to surrender. In addition, Doflamingo is the owner of the once popular human auction house in the Shabaoni archipelago, but gave it to Disco when he lost interest in slave trading in favor of the Battle of Marine Ford and the New Age. His abandonment of the auction house made it succumb to ruination, further demonstrating the power of his influence, and the consequent lack of it. He seems to have a lot of connections, as he was able to acquire the reborn Flare fruit. He is well versed in psychological warfare, as he was prepared to use the fruit as bait to break apart the alliance between Luffy and Law, believing Luffy would never allow anyone else to have it. True enough, after learning the fruit being offered as the grand prize in the Kuroda Coliseum, Luffy immediately entered himself into the contest to try to win it. This displays great insight from Doflamingo towards other people. He also uses his influence to have the media print falsified news about his resignation as a warlord in order to set up traps for his foes. Upon Sugar's defeat, Doflamingo regained control over Dressrosa via turning everyone against his enemies with prize money and the chance to survive, showing ample strategic preparation. Physical abilities. Doflamingo is one of the most powerful pirates to appear so far. He has displayed physical abilities of superhuman strength, reflexes, spryness, dexterity, and speed with excellent reaction time. Doflamingo is also considered a hand-to-hand combat expert, specializing in a kick-based style of combat, as he was able to deliver a single roundhouse kick to his opponent, badly wounding him and fluidly dodging the attack in almost an instant. Agility. Doflamingo has considerable reflexes and agility, as he was able to dodge Oars Jr.'s attacks with relative ease and completely jumped over Oars Jr.'s gigantic body. He is fast enough to escape through the eye of Crocodile's sandstorm and escape unscathed. Strength and endurance. A testament to his power is that over the course of the series until the Dressrosa arc, he had never been injured by any other character during battle. This is noteworthy as he was present in the war between the Marines and the Whitebeard pirates, a battle in which most of the series' strongest individuals, such as Sengoku, were in some way injured. He also showed enough strength to equally clash with Crocodile's hook with just a kick. When Baby 5 attacked him and actually hit him with an explosive round, it was one that he did not even attempt to dodge, Doflamingo took no damage at all and continued having his conversation, not even paying that much attention to it. He also effortlessly dodged all other attacks from her. He was able to block a Daivibo Jambe, an enhanced kick from Sanji with a knee, and subsequently blocked a barrage of kicks that followed with one hand without taking damage. Even with his already impressive speed and strength, Doflamingo possesses a monster amount of durability and stamina. Even as 8 years old, he survived the various tortures the mob put him through, never breaking or begging, instead swearing revenge. Part of Rosinante's reason for seeing his brother as a monster is this refusal to submit to the pain as Rosinante and Homing did. He managed to prevent himself from being completely frozen by Kuzan, as shortly after the ice encased him, he shattered from the ice prison, showing absolutely no pain or discomfort in doing so. He took a direct attack from Luffy's Red Hawk, a move that even caused a steroid-enhanced Horty Jones to spit blood, and recovered in mere moments, though he did cough up a little blood after being struck. However, Law stated that afterwards the attack only managed to inflict superficial damage to the warlord. Even after taking Law's Gamma Knife, which ruptured his organs, he was still able to stitch them back together and continue fighting Luffy and taking several Gear 2nd and 3rd moves, claiming they felt like tickles. Even after enormous blows from Luffy in Gear 4th, which sent Doflamingo rocketing through dozens of buildings and a mountain, he was still able to fight and even control his awakened powers. Furthermore, despite being heavily exhausted and injured, Doflamingo was able to fight dozens of powerful gladiators and defeat them with very little effort. Furthermore, he has tremendous strength, as his leg strength is so great that he managed to produce a 360-degree razor-sharp shockwave, enough to cut through all 3 of Dressrosa's palace towers in one swing, almost instantly, similar to Kaku's Rankek Amamedachi, but uses only one leg without the preparatory spinning. Because of his height, width, size, and build, he can effortlessly carry around a full-grown human without tiring, like the former warlord Trafalgar Law. He even managed to give Luffy a devastating kick even though he was defending with Haki, a maneuver which Luffy was easily able to block with Horty, while at the same time sustain no injury. Devil Fruit. Doflamingo ate the Ito Ito no Mi, or String fruit, which was given to him by Treble, granting him the ability to create and manipulate strings. He uses his fingers accordingly to bend them as he pleases, in either manipulating people like puppets or bifurcating his targets. The strings are extremely thin, and some even may be invisible, making it almost impossible to notice and avoid them. He has shown himself to be capable of controlling more than one person at the same time without apparent effort. Using his Parasite move, he can make his victims move to his will by moving his fingers accordingly. Doflamingo mainly uses this power to force comrades to fight and even kill each other, while Doflamingo himself sits on the sidelines and watches. Every one of his victims being controlled is unable to resist this power, and therefore were rendered completely helpless. This ability is even powerful enough to stop the physically strong Diamond Jozu in his tracks, preventing him from further attacking Crocodile. The strings can also be used for cutting, allowing Doflamingo to effortlessly slice off body parts and destroy weapons. He even managed to cleverly sever Orz's right leg in one swift motion and decapitate Crocodile, though Crocodile's powers only made this a nuisance, due to them not being imbued with Busho Haki. When Usho brought down a meteor on Greenbit, he crossed his fingers to form a net and sliced the meteor into smaller pieces to protect himself from harm. As a further testament to his strength with his Devil Fruit, one of his clones was easily able to slice through the body of Bobby Funk, controlled by Kelly. Bobby's body was already proven to be impervious to an axe coated by haki. He's able to glide or fly in midair by attaching these strings to clouds, creating a sky path, as seen as when he was able to cross the seas to reach Punk Hazard from Dressrosa. Currently, the only known limitation of his ability that is that he cannot float where there are no clouds, meaning he loses the ability to fly. In cases of emergency, Doflamingo can use his strings to repair internal organs as a crude way to staunch the worst effects, though this is not considered actual healing or regeneration. Doflamingo's mastery over his devil fruit is so advanced that he was able to awaken his powers, being able to even turn his surroundings into strings. The great extent of his devil fruit abilities led Marines to wrap him in sea stone cups after his arrest, even though a single pair of cups could neutralize a devil fruit user's powers. Haki. Doflamingo possesses both Bushishoku Haki and Haoshoku Haki. His Haki powers were first revealed during his fight with the G5 Marines, when he used Bushishoku Haki in conjunction with his devil fruit abilities to cut Smoker, a Logia-class user, seriously wounding him, and Haoshoku Haki to knock out the majority of the G5 soldiers. His Haoshoku Haki first awakened when he was around 10 years old, when being pursued by the North Blue citizens who tried to continuously torture his family in revenge, knocking them all out and saving himself. He is also able to harden his body to resist Luffy's jet Gatling without visible injury, and counterattacked with an enhanced punch that injured Luffy and sent him flying back a considerable distance. His Bushishoku Haki, however, is not strong enough to block sharp or bladed objects, as seen when he grabbed Law's sword and cut his hand slightly as a result. Weapons. When Doflamingo was given an obsidian black flintlock pistol with a luxurious gold plating by Treble at the age of 10. Doflamingo was first seen using it after he defeated Trafalgar Law in Dressrosa, firing 3 shots in rapid succession to brutally wound him. This was loaded with lead ammunition, infecting Law with lead poisoning, as a mocking reference to Law's past as the Amber Lead syndrome. This pistol was apparently reserved for Doflamingo to kill people he particularly disliked, as he used it to kill both his father and brother. 10 years ago, he was shown using a sword where he nearly executed King Riku Dole III. And that is it for Doflamingo's profile. 32 minutes. Wow. Longest of the warlords yet. So I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next time as we look at the next member of the 7 Warlords of the Sea, the Master of Shadows, Gecko Moria. So if you like what you've heard, link, comment, subscribe below. If you want to support the channel, just give a nice string kick to that like button. Or if you want to support the channel directly, just click on an advertisement around this video, or just drop something in the bucket. It's all good. So until next time, Shin Tiger Curl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good day, and right and wrong are written by the winners.